1 in 3 across the UK are overdue for cervical cancer screenings. Screening rates are declining, with some parts of England at greater risk due to low uptake of the HPV vaccine. Really good time to promote the concept that you should get vaccinated for HPV. That could be what you use your platform for. Instead, it's, this is what happens when you erase the word woman from your reporting. You disseminate inaccuracies and falsehoods. If you prioritize an ideology over giving clear and accurate information, you want journalists, you're propagandists. He has the brain poison, the mold, so badly. She cannot stop. The mold queen. She's gone so far off the deep end, it's absolutely wild. Britain. J.K. Rowling, right now, just tweeting through it. How are you planning to police public toilets? Was asked to J.K. Rowling. Fair question, because she's now saying that she effectively, because I don't know if you know, the bathroom bill was just passed in the United Kingdom. J.K. Rowling is using her vast wealth and resources to basically be a full-time bigot. If you support now the Harry Potter franchise by buying the books, by watching the shows, by buying the video games, unfortunately, you are basically supplying her with the funding to do her empire of hate. It sucks. That's just how it is. It really is a horrifying thing to see. But J.K. Rowling's primary objective right now in her life with her resources as a billionaire is to target trans children and to make their lives scarier. That's what she wants to do. That's who she is. She's a vile creature. That's all there is to it. But she answers, oh, quite easily, really. Decent men will stay out, as they always have, so we can assume all who don't are a threat, given the disregard for women and girls' safety, privacy, and dignity. Photographing, reporting, and disseminating such men's images online will be a piece of cake. This is going to be, as it always is, a disaster for all women, including cis women. Because cis women now, who I guess don't pass enough, who aren't feminine enough, who don't have long enough hair, who don't dress or wear makeup in the right way, can now be judged, can now be photographed, can now be put online. Oh, we found another one. Yes, she was trying to say that she was a woman, but clearly it's a man in a wig. No, just a cis woman with short hair. Okay, well, that's the world you want to live in. You know, yeah, hopefully you're not a tall woman. Hopefully you are not a tall woman. This is obviously disproportionately going to be racist as well. We all know the misogynoir that has been happening to black women historically. Now, like, you know, there's still the nonstop right-wing conspiracy theories being spread that Michelle Obama is apparently a man with a penis. Something that they just say out loud, you know, without any disregard for, you know, we need to bring back fucking shame, honestly. Like, I know that there's this whole thing where people talk about how, like, cancel culture, and it was like, even leftists, there was a lot of leftists who made this their big rallying cry. We need to destroy the wokeness on the left and stop the cancel culture because too many people are being unfairly targeted and all this kind of stuff. I don't have the power to cancel. If I told all of you today, I cancel Stephen Colbert, I do it. Colbert is canceled. Cancel him now. Tomorrow, there would be zero material difference to his livelihood, to his show, to anything, right? But public shaming, because again, we as a society have come together to accept that things are bad and unhealthy for all of humanity. Slavery, genocide, apartheid, things like that. And so to the people who are pushing for them in the modern era, yeah, I have no problem with, again, publicly shaming these people, and like there should be a collective understanding, like, you know, a certain amount of collective disgust and revulsion at overt racists was a good thing, actually. You know, if you were in a group of friends and all of a sudden one of them was like, hey bro, that's gay, and another friend was like, you should stop doing that, that's a good thing. That it's a good thing for someone else to stand up, even if they're not a part of that group, and all of a sudden be like, hey, by the way, this makes all of us unhealthy. It makes all of us unsafe. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be gay to know that if people are targeting gay people, if they're trying to lynch them, if they're trying to beat the fuck out of them and kill them, or if they're trying to deprive them of their rights, of their housing, of their jobs, it's going to make all of society more sick. We know that because the times we try it, it does that. So hey, by the way, stop doing that. A few days ago, I used the women's restroom. I rarely ever do. In fact, since starting my transition, I can count on both hands how many times I've done so. I walked in expecting to be empty, and immediately upon entering, I saw another woman. I winced and ran straight into the stall, replaying the scenario in my head, wondering if security would be called, wondering if I should have turned around or braved the men's restroom, wondering if I should have just allowed myself to continue to stress my kidneys because going to the restroom in public has become a reminder of the tweets like the one pictured below. I finished peeing and I did not want to stay in the stall for longer for fear that it would trigger a response from the women I had seen upon entry, so I stepped out, expecting a nasty look, a threat, or at the bare minimum for my presence to be ignored. I made my way to the sink, I held my head down and washing my hands. The woman giggled and said, "Don't worry about it, not flushing. It's kind of delayed." I looked up at her and said she had a bright smile etched on across her face. I think she knew that I was terrified. The toilet flushed and she wished me a good day and stepped out. This is the reality of what we want: safety, respect, and being able to use the restroom without fear that we are unsafe. And also, like, J.K. Rowling and what she's doing by attacking trans women exclusively is effectively, even for someone who's a self-professed feminist, upholding the patriarchy. Because you are, first off, taking the blame away from the primary offender of women, who happen to be cis men, cis straight men. They are the ones who are attacking women. They are the ones who are sexually assaulting them, physically assaulting them. It is cis straight men. So as long as you continue to focus on trans women exclusively being some unique evil, where the trans women are the ones who are going to be entering bathrooms, or the drag queens or men who spend all day being like, oh, I found a cheat code. If I want to assault women, all I have to do is go on fucking HRT for 2.5 years, get surgery, and then all of a sudden I can qualify to be able to enter the bathrooms, and the inspectors can't stop me because I'm passing enough. Like, what are we doing here? This shit is so unbelievably bizarre and grotesque, and again, it's going to be very damaging to all women. Oh, the majority of women are cis, so cis women are going to be the ones who are being judged all the time by creepy ass dudes who now are saying they're doing it because of feminism. Oh, hi there. Volunteer genital inspector? No, I know that I'm a man, but don't worry. I'm one of the good ones. I'm not here to sexually assault anybody. I'm here to simply look at your genitals and make sure that they qualify within my own interpretation of what a woman is. And if you're unwilling to do that for whatever reason, I want to take a photo of you. And yeah, there are certain things I'm looking for, definitely. Hair, makeup, dress, how feminine you sound. We need to know exactly what exactly, like, shame. Call it all these freaks, these monsters. I don't believe in my heart the majority of British people want this. The majority of British people want to have bathroom inspectors for women's bathrooms. I don't even believe the majority of women want to. This has to be something that is consistently done in the form of intentional framing and manipulation. It's the whole reason you get people like Jesse Singal, and you get people who just want to ask questions and find weak points, find areas where they can find the general public will immediately be like, oh God, yeah, that does concern me. I never thought about it that way, but it is kind of frightening to think that maybe now men could enter women's bathrooms. The men who are going to sexually assault women do not go through these procedures to suddenly get their pass so that they can enter the bathroom. They enter the bathrooms because they are fucking horrifying rapist monsters, and everyone should hate them and call them out and want them to stop and want to stop them. That should be a goal for everybody, not suddenly being like, you know what, why don't we distract everyone with this whole like transphobia thing, so that way the bathrooms can now become a place where people can inspect other people's genitals. 1 in 3 across the UK are overdue for cervical cancer screenings. Screening rates are declining, with some parts of England at greater risk due to low uptake of the HPV vaccine. Really good time to promote the concept that you should get vaccinated for HPV. It doesn't matter if you're currently sexually active or you're planning to be sexually active in the future. It is safe, it is effective, and it has shown itself to be something that you can now go do. And like, again, that could be what you use your platform for. Instead, it's, this is what happens when you erase the word woman from your reporting. You disseminate inaccuracies and falsehoods. If you prioritize an ideology over giving clear and accurate information, you want journalists, you're propagandists. He has the brain poison, the mold, so badly. She cannot stop. This would be a great time to bring attention to, maybe we need to fund the NHS more. Maybe we need to have public health be, properly funded so more people have access to the ability to get health screenings. Maybe we shouldn't be listening to right-wing politicians who always talk about privatizing the healthcare system, because that's effectively going to cut out anyone who couldn't afford it in the first place. And yeah, this whole myth that it's just going to make the entire system better, when practiced, all it does is erode and gut the public healthcare system in favor of the private healthcare system, because that makes rich people richer. So when you have a billionaire rich person who's telling you, don't be distracted by all of this, concern yourself with trans, that it's with purpose, right? Hers is because she's just completely gone, but it's very beneficial to billionaires and the exact class of people who don't want you to talk about all the issues going on here. To get vaccinated. Maybe vaccines should be free. Maybe they should be free and accessible for everybody. Maybe public healthcare needs more funding. Maybe corporations that are, making infinite amounts of money off this kind of shit need to be reined in, taxed, so that they can pay for the public options and stuff like that. None of that is here. All that's here is trans people, over and over and over. I don't think the majority of the public have any idea how genuinely delusional J.K. Rowling is. When people call her a cultist, they are really not being hyperbolic. The only difference between Rowling and the average QAnoner is a devoted client media and a billion quid. And also, what you doing, HBO? Shame on you. Shame on you for just trying to ignore all of this. Just hoping maybe she'll be a little calmer. Maybe she won't just be as aggressive and announce publicly that she is now going to be using all of the money that she gets from the Harry Potter franchise to fund into hate groups that are directly going to target kids. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And I'm sorry for the actors, the grown adult actors who are now willing to perform in the Harry Potter franchise so that it can get rebooted for another generation and everyone can keep talking about how amazing Harry Potter is. And then the second they ask who created this, they can then find and go down the pipeline of transphobia thanks to J.K. Rowling. Well, yeah, shame on every one of you as well. Like, I know some of the actors who are in it have said publicly that, like, oh no, I don't support her views. But I just think that Harry Potter is a wonderful, magical experience that brings people together. And at this point, what better way to share this with the world? It's like, you cannot separate this because HBO themselves are not separating this. HBO said we don't want to be involved in the politics of J.K. Rowling, but we believe that she's created one of the most wondrous and fantastical, stories that needs to be shared with the world. And so we are very happy to have her collaborating and working with us on this project. They're not even trying to kick her out of the brand new reboot of the Harry Potter franchise. Yeah, she is involved. All of you are involved. All of you are complicit. And honestly, read another fucking book, for the love of God. Just the same shit over and over. But it's got muggles and wizards and witches and the golden snitch and other such things. Delightful majesty and slaves. Yes, house elves. It has slavery. It's not really seen as the ultimate evil of the story. In fact, it's something that just gets ignored because apparently the house elves enjoy their lives as slaves. Good thing. Radicalized Rowling calls for bathroom vigilantism. J.K. Rowling, the UK transphobe, urged her 14.3 million followers on X this weekend to photograph and disseminate images of online people they believe to be trans who are in public restrooms. The behavior Rowling encouraged appears to violate the UK harassment law that prohibits the watching, following, or spying of individuals and publishing a material that purports to be about them. Violations are a criminal offense, subject to a year in prison. Rowling expressed certainty that all of her millions of followers would always discern trans from cis, invoking the wearing of wigs as a surefire method. She derided one critic who questioned her certainty, calling him crazier than a box of meth-addled frogs. But cis women, many of them lesbians, are frequent victims of bathroom vigilantism that Rowling has called for. A lesbian was visually attacked by a man and a boy waiting outside of a woman's restroom in Illinois in May. The woman suffered a fractured nose and an eye hemorrhaging just because I walked into the women's bathroom and because of the way I looked. In Boston, a male hotel security guard entered a women's restroom in May, banged on a stall, demanded IDs, and eventually ordered a cis lesbian couple out of the bathroom because they did not look right in his eyes. In January, two loudly transphobic members of Congress, Nancy Mace and Lone Boebert, followed a cis woman into a public restroom at the Capitol and confronted her based on the erroneous belief that she was a trans lawmaker. The Williams Institute of the UCLA School of Law found no evidence that safety or privacy has been compromised by trans people using bathroom stalls that align with their gender. Conversely, in February, reports found growing levels of harassment of trans people in restrooms, in both the restrooms that align with their gender and the ones that align with their gender assigned at birth. Stephen Fry, the British actor and comedian who narrated the Harry Potter audiobook, said in an interview last week week, Rowling has become radicalized online. Though he once considered her a friend who has stood by, Fry denounced her current online commentary as cruel. She says things that are inflammatory, contemptuous, and mocking. The New York Times has closely aligned itself with Rowling's harsh anti-trans views for years, notably publishing a lengthy defense of her opinion columnist in 2023. The Times rolled out an assembly line of stories advancing the anti-trans agenda in the aftermath of last week's Supreme Court ruling, the U.S. versus Scrimeti, but the harshest criticism of its coverage centered on the 11,000-word magazine story. Amongst its many flaws, my review found the piece appeared to mimic the legal arguments and talking points of the right-wing anti-trans group Alliance Defending Freedom. One passage asserting that gender or gender-fluid people might shift from hour to hour hews closely related to the claims of the ADF piece last year, complaining of the new words like genderqueer and non-binary. More insidious, though, was the medical science disinformation that slips into the piece, falsely asserting that trans healthcare raised novel issues because it could require lifelong treatment, and the ADF has used the same loaded framing in its court filings. Gender-affirming care is not novel. It has been accepted practice for decades. Numerous conditions from high blood pressure to asthma, thyroid disorders to glaucoma require lifelong medication. Despite the Times' insistence that trans rights are, quote, lost, elected officials and courts across the country are still very much having a say in the matter. In Delaware, the governor, Matt Meyer, signed an executive order on Friday guarding the personal information of providers of trans patients and protecting providers from retaliatory actions. State Representative DeShannon Neal, whose daughter is trans, praised the order as a fulfilling promise I made to my daughter and to all trans people who deserve dignity, respect, and care. So yeah, fuck J.K. Rowling. And again, this is going to be disastrous for so many reasons, primarily because it is going to affect all women. All women. Yes, trans women too, but the majority of women are cis, and the majority of women who are going to be trans investigated as they enter the bathrooms are going to be cis women who do not meet the standards of what people consider to be gender norms. If you short hair, if you're not wearing makeup, if you look too butch, if you're wearing big boots, if you're wearing pants, hey, some weird fucking male pervert is gonna run in there. I'm here on behalf of J.K. Rowling, part of the fucking penis squad, here to make sure that you have the right genitals. Get out of the stall, show it to me, show me your crotch right now. Like, this is the future that you want? This is feminism? Like, what the fuck? You know?
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwig, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.